By the way, they never report the crowd on January 6th. You know, Nikki Haley, did you know they destroyed all of the information, all of the evidence, everything, deleted and destroyed all of it, because of lots of things. Like Nikki Haley is in charge of security. We offered her 10,000 people, soldiers, National Guard, so whatever they want. They turned it down. They don't want to talk about that.
There's a lot to unpack in that segment. First, the people who want good for the country don't seem to know how to fight as well as those who would burn it to the ground. We mentioned in our book, Florida is where DeSantis's presidential dream goes to die, a reminder of superhero stories. Have you noticed that movies and TV shows where the hero is constantly putting out, figurative and literal, fires set by the villain? The hero actually spends most of the time following the lead of the villain. Instead of doing things to get ahead of the villain, they only react as more and more innocent people become collateral because the hero won't go on offense. This is the case with some in so-called mainstream media. So the previous segment is a serious case in point. Trump lies and keeps repeating his lies until they stick. Right-wing outlets join him in repeating the lies and making sure more people hear them. So-called mainstream reports the lie, sometimes fact-checking it and then drops it as they move on to report his next lie. Trump spoke at a rally one day. He was covering his favorite and most important topic, him. Listen.
By the way, they never report the crowd on January 6th.
This man is hopelessly caught up in entertainment and celebrity status. In front of the American people and speaking to them about one of the most horrifying incidents in the country, and all he can focus on is how big the crowd was that came to see him. Let's see, is that America first?
You know, Nikki Haley.
This part of his speech got a lot of attention. He was clearly mixing up Nikki Haley and Nancy Pelosi, two women who really managed to get under his skin. Of course, at this time Nikki Haley was still in the Republican primary race and annoying him to no end. People began to discuss how this proves he is in cognitive decline, otherwise known as falling into either dementia or Alzheimer's disease. We're not saying that attention should not be given to this, as this is a person who wants to be the President of the United States of America. We did notice, however, one point that we believe would be very important to share with the followers and faithful supporters of Trump. Before we get into that, check out this next session.
Did you know they destroyed all of the information, all of the evidence, everything, deleted and destroyed all of it, because of lots of things.
Some people have what's known as a tell. When they play cards, people can tell if they are bluffing. Some people also have a tell when they're lying. We mentioned in the book, Florida is where DeSantis's presidential dream goes to die, that you can tell when DeSantis is lying because he pulls in his bottom lip. The way you always tell Trump is lying, I'm tempted to say whenever his mouth is going. But more specifically, you can always tell because he starts playing that imaginary accordion. That spreading of his arms.
Like Nikki Haley is in charge of security. We offered her 10,000 people, soldiers, National Guard, so whatever they want. They turned it down. They don't want to talk about that.
And here's why we asked you to please follow this video to the end. He said they, referring to what we call the phantom they. He said they don't want to talk about that. Two things. First, he shouldn't want to talk about that. Second, this is the part we refer to when we speak about the problems with some people in so-called mainstream media. Trump and his ilk repeat the same lies over and over again until they are accepted as truth by his followers. The so-called mainstream falls short because they won't keep repeating the truth to the people until it sets in. The other issue with some people in the so-called mainstream media and its pundits is that they don't think on the ground where the people are and receive the message. Right-wing media speaks to the people who just want a simple message in a simple way. Mainstream folks speak as if giving a presentation. So, finally, what we wanted to point out is that while everyone focused on Trump's possible cognitive speech blunder, no one placed enough emphasis on the blunder that would be most important to his followers. He said, we offered her 10,000 people, soldiers, National Guards. Watch our final segment and see if you don't see what he just told his followers he did to them.
Okay guys, you all know what needs to be done. We're gonna hit the cake. Those humans will never know what hit 'em. Get in, get out. Let's get it done. Hello, police? Yes, I'd like to report a robbery in progress.
See our point? The leader of the cockroaches sent his fellow cockroaches on a mission, only joined them part of the way there, and then called the authorities on them. That's what Trump is saying he offered to do when he said he offered to send troops. So, just for a moment pretend he was telling the truth and Nancy Pelosi turned them down. It's hard to keep a straight face, we know, but indulge us for a minute. If she turned him down, what did he do? Shrug his shoulders and go back to watching on television? Is that what a responsible person who wants to be president will do? Finally, if what he said is true that he offered troops, does this not mean that he recognized the gravity of the situation and how deadly serious it was? After doing that to them, and not pardoning them while he was still president, and now that he wants them to support him in his new bid for president, he's saying the following.
Well, thank you very much. And you see the spirit from the hostages, and that's what they are, as hostages. They've been treated terribly and very unfairly, and you know that, and everybody knows that.
Thank you for your support with our first publication. Florida is where DeSantis' dream of becoming president goes to die. We are now working on a 5-book collection called the Mega Series. We hope to launch the first book, Mega, the Book of Trump, in his own words, by April 30th. We hope to launch the second book in the series, America First. Those who say it the most, understand it the least. We really need your support to get this done. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and click the bell so you will be notified when we produce more. If you would like to help us with resources, contact us at the email address on the screen and even go to our GoFundMe page. If you can, at Methodology Books, the fundraiser is called the Mega Series.
Hi, Governor. This is Nancy. Governor, I don't know if you have been approached about the Virginia National Guard. Mr. Hoyer was speaking to Governor Hogan, but I still think you probably need the okay of the federal government in order to come into another jurisdiction. Thank you.
Secretary of the Army.
Oh my gosh, they're just breaking windows, they're doing all kinds of, it's really, that they said somebody was shot. It was just horrendous, and all at the instigation of the President of the United States. Okay, thank you, Governor, I appreciate what you're doing, and if you don't mind, I'd like to stay in touch. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Virginia Guard has been called in.
You know, I'm just talking to Governor Northam, and what he said is, they sent 200 state police and a unit of the National Guard